what is the difference between line and instrument level? I am now in the past, currently in the present, but while you're listening to this, it will have been in the past. While I'm recording the future, you get the whole thing. I have a guitar around my neck. This is the Gibson Les Paul Studio. I just restrung it. I have been using the Arturia Mini Fuse for a couple of weeks at this point, and I am recording the second channel here, which I have my guitar plugged directly into using a 1/4" to 1/4" cable. Currently, I am on the instrument input, which is what you ought to be using when you are connecting an instrument directly to your interface, because your instrument is outputting instrument level, and when you have your interface set to instrument input, it is expecting and anticipating and set up to accept instrument level. So let me go ahead and just play this. It will be raw at first. Listen to it. Pretty quiet. Now, there is nothing special about that, just a raw direct input. Let me switch this channel to line input, and you can automatically hear the volume decreases significantly, so let me increase the gain. And now listen. The hiss on this is outstanding. It is amazing how much hiss has been introduced by switching the input to line level, because line level is significantly louder. The instrument is too quiet, so we have to crank up the gain, and that is increasing the noise floor, not to mention the impedance mismatch, which is likely also increasing that noise floor, which makes this unusable. Also, listen to the change in tone. It darkens it up completely. The top end is just, it sounds as though you've rolled it off, you've low passed it. Let me switch back to instrument. Right away, the hiss disappears, and then you hear all that top end come back and the low end so much more controlled. So, to answer the question, I just said so, it's my filler word. You ought to be using instrument input when you are connecting an instrument to your audio interface, because setting it to line, I don't know how you are getting less noise when you are connecting via line level. That doesn't make any sense to me, because in my experience, connecting an instrument in line level leads to significantly worse noise and significantly worse frequency response, because it destroys it. That's how it's supposed to sound. And when you go to line, one more time, you put a comforter over the recording. It sounds terrible. Then you ask about the signal path that I use for amp simulators to get a full sound, and I don't do anything fancy whatsoever. I legitimately just put the amp simulator on that channel, and that is it. Most of the time, I use Positive Grid Bias Amp, but because I've been testing out the Mini Fuse, I've been trying the free amp sim that comes with it. It is Guitar Rig 6, and I am on the Metalcore Take 2 preset, and I have decreased the rhythm gain quite a bit. And this is, all I did was turn it on. I turned it on, and this is the sound we're getting. So I have no problem, no lack of low end here. There's plenty of low end there. You could just crank it up if you want more of it. Just starts to get a little bit muddy, a little bit fuzzy. I don't like it. But I don't do anything. That's it. So hopefully I don't damage my guitar by smashing it on my desk. But to conclude and summarize, because I did not prepare for this at all, I just started recording. You ought to be recording an instrument running into your audio interface as instrument level. You need to be running over 1/4-inch cable into your interface to be getting instrument level. You should not be running line level. Then as far as amp simulators, I just run directly into the amp sim. I don't do anything to it. And most of the time, I just use presets and then just tweak them a little bit to get a little bit closer to the sound that I want. Hopefully that was helpful, Dennis. Hopefully that was interesting to everybody else. I tried to make sure it wasn't a visual exercise because I know a lot of y'all listen on audio only. So there you go. If only the guitar was in tune. Okay, next voice submission.